because it's different than other Florida State wins in this brief tenure under Mike Norvell. This was fully earned, and it was not to be questioned. It was not an accident. There were no incredibly fortuitous breaks that come around once a season. There weren't these, it wasn't a, some crazy 100-yard kick return followed by a blocked punt, followed by a tipped pass. None of that. No. This was Florida State beat North Carolina's ass in Chapel Hill after falling behind 10-0 in a disastrous start to this football game, a disastrous first quarter for a team that, for the most part, has been lacking when it comes to confidence and belief. To get down 10-0 as prohibitive underdogs, and I mean of a significant variety, only to steal your resolve, bow up, and physically dominate the game from that point forward, the second quarter on, is truly a sign of not only continued hard work, but belief, buy-in, and confidence that carries over after a victory against Syracuse, and that really kind of carries over from the second half of the Louisville game. It was not a mirage, but rather Florida State was getting better. They were moving to this place. Now, they have been saddled with injury for most of this season, and so even that kind of affirmation, that kind of belief in oneself and in each other and in a coaching staff and the work ethic and all of the principles being taught and, all, it might not lead to victory, and Norvell has talked about too, that, just because you work hard, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win, but certainly you give yourself the best chance to win if you continue in the face of overwhelming adversity and devastating results. If you continue to work hard and believe in both yourself and your teammate next to you and the coaches that you believe, clearly you believe, have your best interest in mind and the means to go about helping you, then you give yourself a chance in a game like this to come back from down 10-0, to stay the course, to have some success, which leads to more success, which leads to more success, which begins to be really self-fulfilling. And Florida State kind of just took control of this game, and along the way, may have very well found out exactly who they have to be in order to win games this year. I think they did find that out. I think we now see that it's precarious even still, even though we bask in the glow of victory here today, as we should, even though we're all elated about a big win. And you really should take the time to let that wash over you, because that was, in my mind, highly unlikely. It did not seem like something that was going to happen, and it didn't get off to the kind of start that would portend of a comeback victory. But because they did win this game, because they have found this formula, how many other teams are they going to face that might be disinterested? Today you find out De'Ara King is not going to play the rest of the year for Miami. That game now certainly pops up on the radar as another possible victory. I think when we look for other signs or chances to win games, obviously UMass, the next opponent. Congratulations, Walt Bell gets his second win in 20 some odd tries there at UMass. He gets a win. So, but that should be an automatic win. That'll get you to 3. You're going to need a colossal upset if you have some fanciful dream of making a bowl game, because that's what the Jacksonville State game did to you, which will forever come back to haunt us. But you do have an opportunity if you've got teams that don't feel like being there or don't play well on a given day, and or if you fall back on this belief and confidence and you have a healthy Jordan Travis, you can beat Boston College, you could beat NC State. So there are games out there now that look like possibilities, opportunities, as Coach Norvell would say, and all coaches tend to say that, even in games which they're underdogs. Well, got a hell of an opportunity here. He said that about the North Carolina game. And most of us, when you're an 18-point underdog, we might not describe it as an opportunity. We would describe it as hold our breath and hope we don't get pummeled game. But no, they took that opportunity. They end up winning this game. And congratulations also, not just to this team, but specifically I want to congratulate Jordan Travis, who looked like for the first time not just in fleeting moments or big plays here and there where he's elusive. It looked like for the first time in his career, now a lot of this had to do with injury, a lot of that's had to do with circumstances that are out of his control. But for whatever reason, it really hasn't happened until, I think, Saturday, Tom. He looked completely comfortable with every facet of what was being asked of him at the quarterback position. He ran the ball with authority, all the read option stuff. He was in total control. He threw the ball accurately when they dialed up shot plays, calmly stood in the pocket 4 or 5 different times on crossers that I saw that he's never shown the ability to do without getting happy feet. I mean, every aspect of this game plan was perfectly devised for him. It was perfectly designed for him, and he executed it almost as good as anybody can possibly execute a game plan.
Yeah, the pocket stuff, the patience to throw the football, we saw some of that in camp.
And that's but I'm talking about the game, right?
Yeah, that's because you got a green jersey on, and it's not live, and you don't have to worry about the liability that can be our offensive line actually coming back to bite you because nobody can touch you. The thing that was new to me, and listen, you've got to take that step from the practice field to the game field. That's a massive step for the game to slow down enough for you to be able to translate it from, a Tuesday to a Saturday.
Yeah.
But the thing that I was blown away by was his patience in the read option game.
It was great.
We haven't had a quarterback here that's ever looked like that for one game since I've been covering the team, and that's since 2010.
Yeah.
Jimbo would call those elements in his offense.
Yeah.
Christian didn't know what to do. EJ didn't know what to do. No. We thought maybe Everett Golson would be the exception to the rule. He came here. He didn't know what to do, and so on and so forth. Until Saturday, when you saw us at the mesh point as patient as Wake Forest at times, where you're thinking, oh, my God, he's going to let that develop. That's a gain of 8.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Across the board, even at 10-0. And that throw, that touchdown in the back of the end zone, that's a slim margin. It's decent coverage. It's not terrible coverage. It's a great catch. But I thought across the board, we looked prepared for everything North Carolina was going to throw at us, whether you're talking about offensive players or defensive players.
Mm-hmm.
That's a sight for sore eyes. And we made them quit. They quit in the fourth quarter on that game. And we forced them to do so. That is something that has not happened around here in quite some time, especially when you're facing a conference opponent. Like last year's game against North Carolina, completely different script. We got out to a big lead. They dominated us, and they dropped the ball at the very end. And we felt like we escaped. But who cares? Yeah. Who cares? You're building. It's good for recruiting momentum.
Yeah.
This one, we took it from them. We took it to them, and we took it from a 35-7 run in this football game. And it felt like it. That was representative of what we were watching on the field.
It was, and it's to the place where how many of you guys out there had to pinch yourself? We have been down for so long and beaten up for so long and disappointed and grown used to being disappointed for so long that sometimes it's hard to accept when something good is happening. They're playing exceptional football for the better part of 2.5 quarters. Florida State goes on the sustained run of winning the line of scrimmage, really dialing up those big shot plays at just the right times. They were tackling well. They're doing a lot of things, that they needed to do in order to win the game. They're winning first down, or at least not losing first down at all. Really not at all. They stayed way ahead of the chains most of the day if you go look at all those advanced numbers. But even when they got well behind, how in the world we have a 3rd and 18 conversion or 3rd and 12 conversion or whatever it was?
That was helping. Yep.
Yeah. So all this stuff are signs of real growth and belief and reasons to get excited. But as it's happening, if this were 2 teams that I didn't care about, if maybe I had bet on and I was just watching 2 teams to see a result based on said wager, Florida State at the end of the 3rd quarter, if they were a different team, not named Florida State, and North Carolina were whoever, they could have been North Carolina against anybody else, I would have said, well, this game's over. I'm going to flip over. I'm going to flip away from this game because it's over. Clearly, that team is doing to North Carolina something that they can't stop. I don't need to watch this game anymore. I've lost or won this bet, whatever it would be. I'm flipping over to this other game. But because it's us, because we've been down for so long, and because we found a way to let other teams back in the game, hell, just a week ago, found a way to let another team back in the game, I refused to trust it. I was like, well, the other shoe's going to drop any time now. We're going to drop a ball. Something's going to happen. Somebody's going to do something dumb. Carolina's going to get a gift. It's going to be a bust somewhere in coverage. Something's going to... No, nothing happened. Nothing happened. And in fact, if you're a North Carolina fan today, you're asking yourself, what the hell, man? What are we doing? We got better players than Florida State, and we looked outclassed, outcoached, and really, frankly, in the fourth quarter, disinterested. I'll let them worry about that. But that has to be you could tell. I mean, the stands were emptying for a reason, but also they weren't pressing the matter at all out of desperation. It was sort of like, can we go home? I'd like to go home. It's rainy out here. It's been a tough day. We're not playing real well. Let me just take it on down the road. That was the strangest thing. A lot of people pointed to it the last drive for North Carolina where they scored. I thought it happened before then. I didn't think that they looked like they had a sense of urgency. I think they had a look in their eyes as if they were whooped.
No, so at the end of the first half, I texted you. See that look in Howell's eyes?
Mm-hmm.
Because he had a run, I think that got him inside the 30-yard line or something, and then it was called back for a hold. And the look that he had was just this, everybody's failing. They're failing me. What is this? This is not what we prepared for. And I asked a couple of people on the post-game show, which you can catch here on Warchant TV after every game, home and away. There was one gentleman who called from the stadium. He was still hanging out there, and he's on his way back. And I said, was it? Because it felt dead through the television screen, even in the beginning, even at 3-0, 10-0. And the sense I got from him and others was it was appropriately loud for when Carolina scored early, but it wasn't extra loud. And the way that the players and Mac Brown had talked all week was this is a spot for revenge for what we were not able to do last year. So you would think you'd see that extra juice from the players and from the sideline and feel it in the building. But even when they were winning, there was nothing really there. It was akin to a Wake Forest crowd more than it was to, say, the North Carolina game against Clemson last year, where that fan base knew what that moment was. They didn't recognize it today. And maybe it was the blowout loss to Georgia Tech that they were like, the hell with you guys. But for whatever reason, who cares? The Noles who were up there reported back that we were louder than they were.
Well, it sounded like it. It certainly sounded like it for much of that game. I mean, I heard the war chant loud and clear throughout the afternoon. I mean, this is it's crazy. You got to put it into context. Obviously, I know we're in the midst of a bad season and a long rebuild, and a lot of that doesn't change. But we have preached on this show for 3 weeks running, and you're tired of hearing me say it. I wanted to see evidence of traction. I have talked about this till I'm blue in the face. I have said in a lost season and a frustrating results, if you're going to be buckled in at all to watch the remainder of this season, then you have to look for signs and evidence that points towards a brighter future. And it's possible because that's what happens in a rebuild. It's implied in the name. You begin to see it built back up. Okay, we've watched other programs do this. Luckily, we've had to watch a lot of other programs do this while we remained up here. And every time I recognize it, I'd rather admire it, even if I don't like the team or the program, because it's hard damn work. And it takes you to a dark place. You've got to be willing to stay the course in the midst of horrible results, in the midst of bitterly disappointing moments where kids are still learning how to win and they just don't know what to do. They don't know how to make the plays necessary to win games. They don't know how to avoid the game-changing, disastrous plays. And I have another one of my sayings over the years is that it's one thing in the preseason to accept that something's going to look a certain way, but then you watch the actual game, wins and losses happen for a reason, and they require from you an emotion. It delivers it happens. It elicits emotion. And so you have to kind of beat that back and say, no, well, I'm going to stay the course here. Let's just see. It gets to a point where maybe you break. Maybe you eventually say, no, can't do it anymore. But if you're in it for the long haul and you've accepted intellectually that it's a long rebuild, then you're just looking for traction, little signs that the talking points, the mantras, the whatever the philosophies of this particular coach and his staff have, is it catching on? Are you seeing evidence of it? And we now have in back-to-back weeks, really, you got 2.5 games worth now. You've got this result, this game. You've got the last game, and that first quarter was big last game against Syracuse because it was the carryover from the Louisville game that I wanted to see. So you really are beginning to see those important signs of traction. He's getting through to these guys. They've got a long way to go. They're not good enough. They do need an influx of talent, hopefully buoyed by the vast majority of the current verbal commitments for the 2022 class. Maybe that happens. So you're going to lose some already. You've lost some, but that's part and parcel to the recruiting process. That has nothing to do with nothing. I can deal with that. But do you keep that hardcore group of elite players that we're all keeping a close eye on? It was great to see Travis Hunter having fun there was it Robinson or was it Brownlee? It was Brownlee. Yeah. So how great is that? That is so fun to see, and that's a real good sign. And you got a chance now to keep it rolling because, again, you should get this UMass win. Now that would be 3 straight wins. And, look, I think the second half of the schedule is really difficult. But I do think that there are some moments now that have popped up because you have found this identity. And certainly they're playing with a measure of belief and confidence that they didn't have before, where certain things become possible in the second half that we didn't think were possible. There may be games where physically you just get whooped. But I don't think it will be because you're confused as to how to execute and win in a game plan. I think they got their game plan moving forward, and they know how to set it up. So that is, by the way, as an aside, just because I get tired of hearing it when it was at the beginning of the season, is this the 4th straight game that Florida State has had fewer penalties than their opponent? I do believe it is. I know going all the way back to the Wake game, they had fewer penalties.
Yeah, Carolina had 11 or 12.
Yeah, Carolina had 12. They were terrible with penalties. I think we had a total of 5. And 3 of those were in the first quarter when we did dumb stuff. So there's 2 the rest of the game. That's smart. That's good. And they keep doing that, by the way. There are areas that show they have cleaned things up.
Yeah, and we overcame a 1st and 20 in that situation early. We had a hold, and then North Carolina had a delay of game for calling out the signals or whatever they were doing. And we faced a 3rd and 8. This is the play of the game for me because it creates the drive of the game. We had a 3rd and 8 from North Carolina's 47-yard line, and we call a run to Corbin on 3rd and 8.
Off the right side, and he gets it.
We end up getting 16 out of it. But to me, that's a really big moment for 2 reasons. One, it signals that we're not panicking. We're going to stick with what brought us here.
Commitment to what we are.
And that looks like it's probably going to be 2-down territory. As long as you don't get stuffed at the line of scrimmage, we're probably going for it on 4th down.
So there was forethought. Yep.
Right. I loved everything about that call and everything that signaled, to us, not to North Carolina, but to us about what we believe in. And also that we recognize there are certain players on this roster, very few of them, that can change the game for us. Let's get the ball in their hands in those situations. And what did it parlay itself into? North Carolina had the football for 11 of the first 12 minutes of this game to get out to that 10-0 lead.
Yeah.
A sleepy 2-score lead. 11 plays, 7.5 minutes. We take 7.5 minutes off the clock, including the quarter break, which allows the defense the time to rest.
And get back.
Yeah. That paves the way for the 35-7 run. Without that, you don't have the 35-7 run. Huge moment.
No bust in the secondary. They also competed for balls, got their head turned around in phase when they realized the ball was in the air, made plays on the football, including an interception. I don't know. There's not another way to describe this other than outstanding win for Florida State. It really is a great win for a lot of reasons. It's not just a win. It's the way they won. It is a little bit of proof of concept in there as well. And what it reveals about what they think of this coaching staff, that's important. And so, now we move forward. Obviously, you get the bye week, and then you've got UMass. But we'll have other news to come out from this. But I don't know, man. I watch upsets in college football all the time. So do you. You flip around all over the country. You're like, well, look at that. They were 20-point underdogs, and they won. Look at that. They were 14-point underdogs on the road, and they won. We never do it. It's been great consternation. Me, Corey Clark, you, Ira, we've all talked about it for can we ever pull an upset?
Right.
It's legal. You're allowed to do it. Other people do it.
You're allowed to develop as well. And this team's developing. You're looking at a 2.5 game sample size, and it doesn't completely repair the Jacksonville State result. It doesn't. No way. But
it actually makes you angrier about the Jacksonville State result because right now you'd already be at 3 wins with a chance to get your 4th against UMass coming up, and you'd be talking about going to a bowl.
This is correct. Who knows? Maybe they get crazy. Maybe they get crazy in the second half. But you could dare to dream for a week and a half to 2 weeks here because this is the momentum you found yourself with heading into a bye. So you get to sit on a good feeling rather than a bitter taste for 2 weeks. I like that.
Really, it's going to be 3 weeks. You're going to beat UMass. So
and then you dare to dream for Clemson?
Let's see what Clemson does against Syracuse this weekend. Kind of an interesting game. I don't like Syracuse's chances. It may be a bad matchup for them, but let's just see how interested are they in playing. Everybody, and this is a big part of it. We got to talk about the whole of college football because this was, in retrospect, the park your ass Saturday we've been waiting on. Oh my goodness. It's as if every game you flipped on, especially the early games, every game you flipped on went, oh, you thought that was good? Flip over here. It's equally as riveting. Oh, this is coming down to the final play too. Look over here. This one's coming down to a field goal with no time. I'm like, oh, there's another. Oh, they're going for two. It was insane. Loved it. We'll talk about it next, what it all means, who's in trouble. I think you guys know Ed O is in real big trouble. It's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Real Talk 93.3 wants you to win $1,000. Why? Because money talks.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Your next chance to win is coming up during the Jeff Cameron Show at 2 p.m. Listen out for the keyword, then click on the Real Talk Money megaphone at realtalk93.com. Money talks. Everything else can take a walk.
Money, I just can't get enough.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
Do you know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
If you know me, you know how I feel about supporting local. You also know that I love dad jokes. So it really bugs me when somebody I know calls anyone other than Paul's Termite and Pest Control. This year marks 50 years that Paul's has been servicing our community as a family-owned business. That really means something. All treatment decisions are made right here, not some corporate headquarters 100 miles away, but right here. Local knowledge means they know exactly when and how to beat certain issues that are unique to our region. All decisions about North Florida made by North Floridians, and being local doesn't always mean small. Paul's is the largest locally owned termite, pest, and lawn company in the region, but you'll always get the small town treatment and quick service also. Paul's offers a same-day treatment guarantee if you call by noon. If you see something in the morning that's not supposed to be in your house, call Paul's and they'll get them all that same afternoon. It's that easy. For the elimination of termites or any other pest, and for a greener lawn too, visit callpauls.com. Hey guys, it's Greg Tish. It's summertime, it's grilling time. But with a grill that just won't light, you're just going to end up with the summertime blues. Yeah, blues and barbecue go hand in hand, but if you get a custom outdoor kitchen built from Hearth and Patio, you'll feel like a rock star every time those flames kick on. They also sell a full line of incredible high-end grills like Fire Magic, Blaze, and Broil Master, all designed to deliver the ultimate in beauty, performance, and durability. Everything you need to elevate your grilling experience can be found at Hearth and Patio. In fact, anything related to fire can be found at Hearth and Patio. Fire pits, gas lighting, indoor and outdoor fireplaces, wood stoves, and even custom-built pizza ovens. Go see for yourself. Check out their services and products online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. That's hearthpatiotallahassee.com, or give them a call, 850-727-4282. That's 850-727-4282. At Hearth and Patio, they keep the home fires burning.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state government, including public health and emergency response agencies, our friends at ISF recognize September as National Preparedness Month and want to help you be safe this hurricane season. Visit ISF.com to learn more and download your emergency preparedness plan today. ISF, solving the future. We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
And I mentioned earlier that obviously Edo is in real trouble. That LSU, how much of the Kentucky LSU game did you watch?
Not enough. Need to do a lot of work.
Need to do a lot of work.
Need to get a lot better.
Yeah. It was 14-0, followed by 35-7. So the score wasn't quite as indicative as the ass kicking. That game could have been a name your score. So I'm just going to tell you, Tom, the presumption I had before the season began that Edo was going to lose his job is spot on. We're good to go there. That is going to happen. It may happen next week. They play Florida this week.
Yeah. The rest of their schedule, in fact, is
it's not nice.
Dicey.
It's not nice.
Pretty
Arkansas,
dicey.
Alabama, yeah, they got problems.
Ole Miss.
Yeah, they got issues. They've got issues. Man, that was a wondrous weekend. What a fun time to watch college football. I hope that you guys had as much fun as I did. I was smiling, almost like Jordan Travis smiled throughout the game on Saturday. Did you notice that? Two things that really stood out to me besides our exceptional play. Jordan Travis was having a blast playing football. He didn't want to be anywhere else in the world in that moment than on that field with those guys kicking that ass. It was glorious. It's infectious. I love it when your leader is having fun and enjoying playing the game and competing like that. It rubs off on everybody. And it rubs off on us as fans, as viewers. I mean, I was smiling ear to ear right along with him. Not just because of the great play. I was like, they're having fun. This group hasn't had a lot of fun playing football in a long time.
That's true. For me, it was more because of the great play, because he'll smile when we're losing, too. I'm like, you wipe that smile off your face. He'll be like laughing, and it's like 3rd and 17 because of a missed play. I'm like, oh, that's great. Glad you're having a good time out there.
Yeah, going to need you to be better, yeah.
He could smile all he wants if the game's going to be that slow for him. And that's the point that Kenny Dillingham made today in his press conference was just look at the amount of snaps he has. He's really still technically kind of a freshman.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have that much, you're talking about practice reps, which we can't really get into completely, but as we all can guess, he's been wholly limited from the beginning of fall camp here at different pockets of time. And we all know that because he's been limping on the field on Saturdays. But then the actual in-game snaps he's taken, he's in the first year of his development. And if the game is slowed down for him like we saw on Saturday, it won't always look that easy. But if it's that slow to him, we got a real chance, assuming his body holds up.
Yeah, that is the biggest thing, is does his body hold up? I'm telling you right now, I had a blast watching college football, partly because we looked absolutely buttoned up and looked like a team that had a cogent plan that they were willing to follow and fight through. And then the other games, I just flip all around. It was incredible. Texas, Oklahoma, obviously what we talk about, ending with Alabama and Texas A&M. But even Nebraska, Michigan, which I thought would be a great game, turned into a great game as well. Penn State, Iowa lived up to the billing. Certainly hurt Penn State to lose their starting quarterback, but Iowa just plays great defense, kept pinning them down there. Just so many good things about this weekend of college football. It was a blast to watch. I mean, over and over and over again, I'd go, look at this. Ole Miss, Arkansas, good for Pittman going for 2 there. It's the right call. It's a shame it doesn't work out, but they weren't going to get a stop. Nobody was going to stop anybody in that football game. I actually I had a love-hate relationship with that football game just because I do like to see some semblance of defense be played in this game. There are aspects of the game that need to be played.
It's good to see that Lane got his popcorn ready eventually, because he certainly did in the week before. But I think going for 2 there too, what's more sustainable in overtime, Ole Miss offense or Arkansas's offense?
Oh, yeah,
and that's where you've got a chance to win it right here. You can win it right here, right now. They're on their heels. Go ahead. They're exhausted. I get it. I wish it worked out for him. I would have liked to have seen Woo Pig Sooie weep on the field once more, but that's all right. Yeah, you're right. Between that and also the baseball this weekend, which was great. I mean, this is the time of year when my second television finds its permanent home.
Mm-hmm.
It moves around the house from now and again, but it is firmly entrenched right next to primary television because there's just too much happening. You need to have 2 devices plus probably a laptop or 2.
Think about Mark Stoops in Kentucky right now, fresh off of beating Florida. They turn around and just dismantle LSU.
That's a validation win.
If I tell you before, and I was high on Kentucky before the season, not this high, but I liked Kentucky, and I've won some money on Kentucky. But I mentioned before that I thought, okay, bringing in a quarterback from Penn State, bringing in a passing game coordinator coming in from the Rams, these were all things. Kentucky has been a run-first team, play good defense, run the football. not real big on the modern game, throwing the ball down the field, but they'll throw the ball down the field these days. So, Warren Thompson's done some things at Arkansas. That's most unfortunate.
He wasn't going to do them here.
He was not, but he has showed up for them. That is for sure. Listen, I like KJ Jefferson. I like that. I like that team. I like they have some weapons to work with. But that said, Kentucky, back to Kentucky. They now are not only competent offensively in all aspects of the game, they'll beat most of the middling to subpar teams in the SEC. They'll beat the occasional good team like they did with Florida. This is going to be a bridge too far this weekend against Georgia and Athens. The dream dies for the East title this upcoming Saturday.
Air it out, see what happens. You never know. You might get the fumbles. Georgia might get the case of the fumbles, and the next thing you got to be in position to take it. I agree. It's a bridge too far, but I'm reaching in the bag of takes from like 8 years ago because we haven't had to use this take in a long time. But for Kentucky, I said that term, it's a win of validation. Anybody can rise up on a week and give another team a scare, maybe even finish the job. But then after you do that, how do you respond? Do you come back and do you play another solid week of football, or are you just that team that's going to every once in a while scare somebody and beat somebody and then go away?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for Kentucky, that was get your ass and we're going to get your ass fired. That's what we do in back-to-back weeks. What are you going to do about it? That's awesome. That's a step forward for them, and I'm happy for that dude. Mark Stoops is a good guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy, and he was fun to cover when he was here. The biggest moment of the weekend had to be the moment that Oklahoma decided to sit Spencer Rattler and go with Caleb Williams. All that happened from that point forward was a 38-13 run. They were down 28-7 at the time that they make the move. Tom, we texted back and forth, and I know we're on different sides of the aisle this game because of your wife. Not that it's her fault. I mean,
that sounded like
but I obviously I'm rooting for Oklahoma, and in that case, you're rooting for Texas. But when I texted you at the time, I think we both sensed that Texas was at a crossroads in that game.
Yeah.
And they needed to get a stop, and they also needed to go down and score.
Yeah, they needed to get to 48 before Oklahoma was even in the high 30s. Yeah. And if they did, then maybe things shut down a little bit and they calmed down. But that game had no calm whatsoever.
No chill to that game. But Rattler got pulled in this game and needed to. And you got a 4th and 1 play, breaks for a 66-yard touchdown. You have there's just a lot of dynamics in this game. It's weird to say in any given college football season that a preseason Heisman candidate, some might have even said odds-on favorite, and a kid who, from what you read, seems to think that he was about to declare and go to the NFL and be drafted in the first round, could be benched at the midway point of the season for a freshman and have that be the catalyst for the offense that's been missing in Norman.
Oh, yeah, they found it.
Oklahoma went from not, in our minds, based on the way they've played up to this point, not a real serious contender for the college football playoff to they may have just likely punched their ticket to it.
Well, maybe.
But think about the rest of the Big 12.
I hear you, but let me real quick, looking at Texas defense, it's not a great defense. It's just that Oklahoma wasn't playing explosive offense this year. So Oklahoma would still have to do the same old thing, which is outscore a lot of people.
Oh, and I don't know, in the Big 12 they will.
Yeah, but I don't know how appealing that's going to be when you make all these arguments and you've got a team like Cincinnati waiting in the wings.
No, but Cincinnati can get in and Oklahoma can get in. That's why this is fun right now. Georgia can get in and will.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bama's going to get in. We'll see.
That's interesting.
We'll see.
That's really interesting because what was, completely right to assume before the Alabama lost to A&M was the SEC title game is an exhibition.
It's
right. About who has the higher seed.
Not anymore.
Because they're both going. You probably can't say that anymore. Maybe for Georgia, but not for Alabama.
No. Listen, I'm not saying Oklahoma's going to the college football playoff. I'm saying they just had a moment where now they can realistically entertain the idea, given the rest of their schedule and what they may have just found to unlock that door offensively. They have been bogged down with Spencer, so we'll see. I just think that as a college football fan, to see it open up like this, there's a lot still to play for. Georgia looks like the best team in the country. We're still wondering if they're going to come across a game where their offense is going to have to be better. Their defense is the best in the country. It's not close. I got you. And what we thought would happen in that Auburn game did happen. And the question being asked going into that game was, how does Auburn score? Yeah.
Well, the cocktail party is still live, though.
Oh, it's a great game.
Mullen can devise up a
he'll
game
make
plan.
it interesting. Yeah, he'll make it interesting.
I don't think that's a surefire thing for Georgia. The defense will lead the way, but that's actually a wonderful matchup between a doofus who can really game plan it up against a defense that's enough intrigue for me to make sure that it's part of the rotation that day.
Yeah, if Doofus continues to start Emory Jones, though, I do think that's a Georgia win. We'll end up seeing there's just a lot still going on. We're not even talking about Iowa, who got another win. So that was huge, obviously, against Penn State. Yeah, I mean, we're not even talking about them, the number 2 team in the country currently. So that's how wide open this thing is. It's how crazy it is. It's just fun. Brian Robinson entered his name into the portal. The seldom used receiver at Florida State, who came here with high hopes, who when you see him in person in practice, you think that guy's going to contribute at some point. I don't know if it's the injuries. I don't know what it is. It just never clicked here, and he has now put his name in the portal. Miami had a player go in the portal today. This is portal time, Tom. Time to start looking around the country to see who's available. What's going on with some of those LSU recruits, some of those Miami recruits, some of those recruits that maybe we are in on and interested in upgrading the current roster?
What I'm very interested to see is how this NCAA waiver plays out. It was not reported widely last week, but the NCAA granted a waiver and a little bit of leeway for college football teams to go beyond the number 25 for incoming players just this one time, because they see that COVID has really skewed a whole bunch of things. There are fewer homes
those
for
short
players.
Classes and all that.
Exactly. Yes, there are fewer landing places, and it's not just because all these kids are throwing their hands up and quitting. It's that there are real ramifications to an extra year of eligibility.
Yes,
and so you've got to account for it in a certain way. This isn't ironclad, and I'm wondering if they're going to change the language somewhat. But you now have up to 7 more places beyond the 25 to bring in for the upcoming year, and for a program like ours, that's massive. Now, the way you can generate those extra 7 spots is up for a little bit of debate, but it looks like the kids have to transfer after the semester is over. So like this particular entering of the transfer portal by Brian Robinson would not count. But just know that if we have some players that we say, hey, man, you might want to play somewhere else after the season is over, we can go beyond 25. The NCAA has said, yes, you could do that. That's huge, especially if we're the team that has the momentum at the end of the year in this state. Over a team like Miami. Who knows? Maybe over a team like Florida. They may beat us head-to-head, but players might say, I'd rather go play for Norvell than Dan Mullen. This could be huge for us.
Also should note that Miami, North Carolina is this weekend. Who wants to quit more between Miami and North Carolina? There's all kinds of quitting litter in that field. There's just quit. One quit's going to touch another quit. All the quitting, tackling each other. Seldomly, by the way, based on Miami stats. Miami stats are last in the country in tackling.
I didn't know I was supposed to do the transfer portal noise if we have somebody enter it. Like from our own team, though, we're going to do that? All right. I mean, if you want.
Well, I just said transfer portal repeatedly.
Yeah, I know. People are calling for it.
Yeah, go ahead. There it is. And on that note, it's Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The average U.S. price of regular grade gasoline jumped 6 cents over the past 2 weeks to $3.31 per gallon. That's more than $1 than what it was last year. Nationwide, the highest average price for regular grade gas is in the San Francisco Bay Area at $4.55 per gallon. The lowest average is in Houston at $2.77. Here in Leon County, the average is sitting at right at $3. An expert said the reason for the increase is the rise comes as the cost of crude oil increases and demand goes up in Europe, where refineries are switching from burning gas to oil-based fuels. The Franklin County Sheriff's Office responded to a call for a water rescue Sunday near the Apalachicola Bay Bridge. Sheriff A.J. Smith said a family from Alabama was out on their boat when it started taking on water. The family was then forced to jump overboard. A FCSO deputy was able to use his personal boat to reach them and bring them to safety. The sheriff says they were in the water for an hour, but they are now safe and well. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update. Brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly clear skies and quiet this afternoon with highs around 85. Winds out of the east around 5 miles per hour. Lows level off around 65 tonight, mainly clear skies. Highs level off around 88 tomorrow, mainly sunny skies and calm. Temperatures a bit above average Wednesday and Thursday with highs in the upper 80s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 81.
Hi, I'm Jeff, founder of Which Superior Sandwiches, and I'm here to tell you about our signature witch, the Wicked. Why call it the Wicked? Some say it's wicked tasty, some say it's wicked large. One thing's for sure, with oven-roasted turkey, ham, pepperoni, roast beef, and bacon, as well as your choice of 3 cheeses, it definitely takes you from wicked hungry to wicked happy in just a few wicked good bites. Only at Which Superior Sandwiches.
On Wednesday, the Wicked is just $5. 5 meats, 3 cheeses, $5.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
I'll never forget
that moment.
As long as I live.
My first call-up ever as a member of the National Guard.
When we got to the armory, they briefed us on the wildfires. They were getting dangerously close to homes.
Helicopters were going up to drop water on the fires. Guys in the unit were preparing for firefighting with local fire crews.
At that moment, I got my first taste of just how important the Guard is to my community.
See how the Guard can be an important part of your life at NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Florida National Guard. Aired by the Florida Association of Broadcasters and this station.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
And we should tell the fine folks about that.
It's the wickedest and the fastest, period. It's Xfinity.
It's Xfinity. You can call 1-800-XFINITY, visit Xfinity.com, or drop into an Xfinity store today for the details on the goodness of the varying speeds you get. Like everything from the fastest in the world, it's an offer, I think it's called the fastest speed in the world, to just need marginal internet speed. Just a little bit here and there, just a little something.
They got
the day.
The gig speed Wi-Fi too, which is really important because I've got the indoor TV setup and the outdoor TV setup. The outdoor TV does have one coax from Xfinity, so I don't have to worry about it there. But you know what? I don't have to worry about the other one either because I use the Chromecast and it reaches from my office upstairs all the way down outside to the deck, and I can put on Red Zone on Sundays, or I can put on, I don't know, the ACC network, I guess, on a Saturday or anything in between.
Begrudgingly.
Used it for baseball this weekend. Made sure I was watching some baseball, and that's cool.
It was awesome, by the way.
Xfinity Stream app on my phone. Any channel I have in my house, I could put on any device in my house. So it's like having a cable box wherever you go. It's all covered, man, and it's all thanks to our friends at Xfinity.
Yeah, they've just launched even more speeds. The gig speed internet by 20%. It's increased. Did you know that?
There you go.
That's a good thing. 1-800-XFINITY or Xfinity.com. I don't know if you watched the end of the Nebraska-Michigan game.
I did, yes.
I've gotten to where I really do feel bad. I really do feel bad for Scott Frost, who's now 0-10 against ranked opponents in Lincoln, by the way. 0-10. And his boy, Adrian Martinez, fumbled to set up that Michigan field goal. That's not good, man. They have outplayed several teams and lost. He looked like, and I'm not even kidding, he looked like he was fighting back tears. Not Adrian Martinez.
Yeah, Frost, yeah.
I thought he was going to cry. And I do think it's because he cares deeply about that team, and he knows they're worlds better than where they started. But they keep losing these games. It's incredible. They had Michigan State beat. They give up a punt return and a crazy play, and they lose in overtime. This game, they were better than Michigan for much of this game. And then Martinez fumbles. You're like, oh my God, this is going to test the bounds of loyalty.
Scott Frost looked like our boy from Breaking Bad when he realized the woman with the black hair doesn't love him, right? He just looked like he's ready. He's just pouting right there. You could see it. The wheels are turning. It's like the moment, not the same, because one is a heartbreaking loss and the other is just a terrible, terrible bludgeoning. But it's the same thing as we saw to Mike Norvell on the road at Louisville last year, where you can there is a look on the outside, but it really tells you what's going on the inside. And it's through the subtleties you see in the facial expression, the anguish and or anger that's raging inside. There's no way that game could finish like that, is what Scott Frost is thinking. But it did, and it did again.
Well, they had Oklahoma beat. They had Michigan State beat. They had Michigan beat. I mean, this is just silliness. Just silliness. I mean, it's got. I want to circle back to our win over North Carolina.
That's a good place to go to.
Well, I failed to bring this quote up because I found it very, very interesting. This is what Mac Brown had to say about the loss to Florida State.
I watched that presser. Okay.
First of all, I'm telling you, 2 fingers, buddy. Mac's got some problems going on. There's some stuff. He didn't look right on the sidelines to me. That's all I'm saying. Well, that's fine. That's fine. But, Tom, those recruiting classes were real. And the stockpiling of talent was real.
Same thing at Texas. They had a lot of good recruiting classes.
Well, now listen, I have been the biggest detractor of Mac Brown throughout his career. And it was made easy for me when he was at Texas for a lot of reasons. But North Carolina is a different animal. To get them to win 9-10 games that quickly is legitimately a good job. He did a good job. I just didn't think for the long term this was going to be the answer because he's 105 years old. Secondly, he looks 105 years old, even if he's 50, and he's not 50. But the point would be, he looked just like his players did, a little checked out. Now, maybe I'm wrong about that, but here's what he had to say after the game. That's not what he said.
Sorry, I thought that was the audio we were looking for.
But he actually did kind of say that. The expectations for us to be a top 10 team were all wrong. So I guess we should all be critical of the media for picking us too high because we're not that good. So you guys all screwed this up. What are we doing, Mac?
Yeah. Eugene Levy was at the presser. That's his reaction.
What are we doing, Mac?
Now, that was a joke.
It was a joke. It was said in jest, but
it didn't land right.
Well, it didn't land right, and it also...
Much like their game plan.
I would also tell you that, yeah, he said it tongue-in-cheek. It was born from a thought process he had that he believes to be true.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He didn't just do that to have fun with the media. He thinks that, and that's how he even got to that place to tell that joke. He knew it wouldn't land if he said it with sincerity. He knew it wouldn't land if he looked out there and had this angry demeanor. He knew he had to say it tongue-in-cheek because he knows the blowback for saying something like that is significant. But he thinks it. He does.
Yeah, it's fun to see. I checked over at a couple of maybe the message boards in the North Carolina community.
You happened to check over there, did you?
Yeah, just to see how they responded to it.
My dad's favorite pastime is checking other teams' fan bases' message boards after brutal losses.
And one theme that came up among many was, boy, he didn't seem to mind that attention at all when they were getting it and times were good. In fact, he loved the networks spending a lot of time talking about how good North Carolina is and what a job Mac Brown has done. It's amazing how he doesn't want that type of attention anymore. Indeed. I would agree. North Carolina posters.
Yeah, I was struck by that. And I don't, listen, I don't hate Mac Brown.
Mac Brown, he must love me then, because I knew he was a fraud in the preseason.
Yeah.
You know what? They should have listened to that guy in Tallahassee. He's unbelievable.
Well, for a long time, I would tell people that Mac Brown got way too much love for the 2 conference titles that he won at Texas. 2 in 16 years. But that said, I don't know him personally. I've met him, but I don't know what kind of person he is. I'm sure he's adored by many.
I met him in a tough moment. Bowden, the announcement of the terminal
you were there,
and he could not have been.
He handled that with great grace.
Unbelievable grace.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're talking football right now and not humanity. We're just talking football. And
Yeah. No, hey, listen, they had the better team on Saturday and they lost. So there's that. That's all you can say. It's brutal. No, Smoke, because he is not Pitino. I wouldn't put that on him. No. We can't put that on him.
There's no way that Mac Brown has that type of sinister in him. He's a better person than Rick Pitino. Most people are, but Mac is, from what I can gather, a way better person than Rick Pitino.
Well, it wouldn't be hard. Wouldn't be hard. Should I take a break and then we get like 1 minute little speed demon thing here? Should I go all the way to the end?
Yeah,
I kind of plowed through stuff, didn't I?
Just give us your best 90 seconds right here, and then we're good to go.
And then we're going to go all the way to the top. Well, that said, I wanted to get that quote out there to you. And then I also wanted to say very quietly, Tom, and this is a little pat on my back because it's still alive. You saw what my boys from Utah did to USC on Saturday.
Yep, there it is. There it is.
Baby.
All right.
There it is.
All right, I
Come
played that.
on now.
There was a small part of me, too, that had the A&M over 9.5 regular season wins. I'm like, well, I guess it's kind of alive. You get past the Alabama game, he's already had his Jimbo special. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe this is another one of those years we say, well, we turn the corner and he can keep selling it to him and he'll get up to $11 million a year. Yeah.
All I know is that Utah laid a drubbing on USC in the Coliseum, 42-26. Non-competitive action, Tom. We got a shot still to come out alive in that Utah bet. That was big. That was probably only to me and the fine folks at Utah.
Well, you also played Georgia to win the title, right?
Yeah, at plus 800.
There you go.
Oh, I got some things. I got some things still working. Got some
long-term tickets.
Yeah, long-term tickets still working with Georgia, certainly. But that Utah one, it was slipping. We were on the edge. I was holding on for dear life. I was, you got to beat USC. And they did. Look at Arizona State's crew. Look at Herm Edwards. We're breaking. We'll come back. Hour number 2.
Let's be honest. We all have way too much stuff. Maybe your storage closet is full, your garage is full, or the guest bedroom is a mess. Call Southeast Portable Buildings, 580-6400, or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Hi, it's Chris Kraft. If you want luxury that speaks to you, if you want a car that exudes class, then come into Infinity of Tallahassee and reserve your very own all-new 2022 QX60. It's sleek and it's sexy, where state-of-the-art meets real life. Pitch and slide second row seats offer easy access to the third row or cargo, even when a child seat is involved. Google it, you'll see. That's real life, and that's the all-new Infinity QX60. Come get yours. Infinity of Tallahassee, next to Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive.
Live from Tallahassee, the Holy Mother of God Greek Orthodox Church presents the Greek Food Festival. Bring the entire family. Enjoy baklava and other Greek pastries. Enjoy a complete dinner. Free admission. Come for the food and leave with the culture this Friday and Saturday, 10 to 10.
He's keeping you comfortable.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
The 8th annual Taptoberfest at the Brass Tap in Midtown is back. It's all happening this weekend starting Friday through Sunday with no cover charge and no entry fees. Bust out your Lederhosen and enjoy a hand-picked selection of local and craft German beers. Plus, your favorite beer-soaking snacks like brats with sauerkraut and stuffed pretzels with beer cheese dip. Don't miss the 8th annual Taptoberfest at the Brass Tap in Midtown starting this Friday. Find out more on the Brass Tap Midtown Facebook page.
Real Talk fact number 44. Banging your head against the wall for 1 hour burns 150 calories. This is Real Talk 93.3, Tallahassee's Real Talk station. Real Talk 93.3 wants you to win $1,000.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
It's time to win some cash. And here's this hour's keyword.
Bills. B-I-L-L-S. Bills.
Click on the Real Talk Money Megaphone at realtalk93.com to enter the keyword for your chance to win $1,000 in this nationwide contest. Money talks. Everything else can take a walk.
Money, I just can't get enough.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT. Greta, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Southwest Airlines canceled hundreds more flights today following a weekend of major service disruptions. By mid-morning, Southwest had canceled about 360 flights, more than 600 others delayed. The Dallas-based airline blamed air traffic control issues and bad weather for the weekend operational challenges. A Southern California beach closed because of an offshore oil pipeline leak has reopened.
Officials say Huntington Beach is reopening after water quality tests revealed no detectable levels of oil-associated toxins in the water. But they're still urging visitors to avoid areas that smell of oil and not to touch any oiled materials that wash ashore. One surfer who went in on Sunday, even though the beach was still closed, said the water was perfect and clear. The oil spill sent anywhere between 25,000 and 132,000 gallons of oil into the ocean. Officials believe it was caused by an anchor that split open an underwater pipeline. The investigation continues. I'm Julie Walker.
Also at townhall.com, Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker has spread it out of the blocks when it comes to fundraising for his Senate campaign to try to unseat Democratic Raphael Warnock in Georgia.
The former professional and college football star running back announced that his campaign pulled in $3.7 million from his late August launch through the close of September, which marked the end of the third quarter fundraising. Walker, a major supporter and surrogate for former President Trump in last year's election, said in a statement that his team is overwhelmed by the support from about 50,000 Americans who contributed. Walker is considered a clear front-runner in the GOP primary, thanks to his high name recognition in the Peach State and the endorsement received from Mr. Trump, who for months encouraged Walker to run and remains very popular and influential among Republican voters in Georgia and across the country. Bernie Bennett reporting.
Stocks are lower now. The Dow is down 110 points. The NASDAQ is off a dozen. More at townhall.com.
One listener that stands out that I worked with was this older couple that was interested in refinancing. They reached out to a few different lenders and, their credit wasn't the best. I know some of these other bigger banks, you just won't hear back from them, which I cannot stand. Not everybody has the 780 credit scores. And just because you don't qualify at one time doesn't mean that you'll never qualify. I'll walk you through what you have to do, whether it's 2, 3, 6 months from now. Back to that older couple, we worked with them for months and months to improve their credit. And we were able to get the loan done. We were saving them hundreds each month, thousands of dollars a year, finally got themselves into a situation financially that they can handle and they could start saving money each month for retirement. End of the day, they just could not be happier, which just put a huge smile on my face.
We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Melville Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLS-ConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
See Nice Tire and Auto Service at 4792 Bluntstown Highway today. The ASC trained technicians at Nice take the guesswork out of fixing your car. That's why wherever you see the Goodyear sign, you'll find what you want in tires and service. From preventative maintenance to a major overhaul and everything in between, you name it. Plus, Nice's services are backed by a nationwide limited warranty. Stop by Nice Tire and Auto Service. 4792 Bluntstown Highway, just west of Capitol Circle.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
Do you know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It gets that win, certainly kind of paints perhaps a different picture of what we see moving ahead with the rest of this season. It's nice to be going into a bye week on a win, but it's also nice to be going into a bye week at a time where the team desperately needs it. This is a kind of a beat the hell group that has been able to they've been able to, the best they can, hodgepodge this thing together. You'd like to believe now you steady yourself for a much more difficult part of the schedule, excluding the UMass game, and that you get guys right. That's the healthiest Jordan Travis has looked, which kind of comes as a surprise given the fact that he was beat up during the week in practice and wasn't a full go. And then he went out there and looked the best he's ever looked. And that was exciting to see, and I'm happy for him. I'm happy for this group because the hard work, the continued hard work in the wake of these losses has started to show and give some traction, as I said, to the talking points, the belief, and the work put in from the coaches and players. So maybe now you get right, you get healthy, and you attack this second half of the schedule and you continue to grow. That's, when you're 0-4, you ask yourself the question, and I'm sure they did too, what's to be gained? What can still be accomplished? What's still left on the table? To me, that's the answer is resounding now that you've won 2 games in a row. You've got a team that fights, you got a team that's found its identity, and you got a team that has a chance to build momentum into the second half of a season that helps you in recruiting. That's the answer. I mean, it was huge for recruiting, I think.
Oh, there's no doubt, on so many levels, because there was one, Corey said this in the postgame show, where you could see now what the offense is meant to look like. And this offense is multiple. So it's not like there's only one way to run it and one way only. We've got to recruit those types of players. There's multiple ways to do it, but you can kind of see now the last couple of weeks how they want to set things up, go back to them. And if we can see it, then what do you think recruits see? They see themselves in those positions. And frankly, they think, well, I'm a better player than that dude. So if I'm in that position, I'm going to be able to make this many amount of plays more than that guy does. That's what you want. You want recruits to come in that feel like I'm going to be an improvement over the last guy, and I can see where I am going to be used. That's the key message that you can send through the play, not through text messages or email, but through the film and the play that these players can see. We haven't been able to do that for so long, and I'm not saying it's all solved, but that was a huge day. That was a day we had to have in order to make sure that guys felt good about what they're committing to and signing to, hopefully in December.
I wondered if they'd get the moment, that you're right. They needed a moment like this where they outshine what's projected, where they're able to show that the things that they're teaching, the things that they're communicating, to me, that is a lot of fun to see rewarded. And so I do believe that win represents more than a singular thing in the win column. It's something that can resonate. Now, again, you've got a lot of games still to play, and those games will play out in a certain manner that will affect those kids and all of us. But I do think that there's a telltale sign now that they have an identity and that they have a belief and that hard work paid off. So therefore, you could kind of, bet that they're going to continue to work that way because they were justly rewarded.
Oh, yeah, you could push them even harder now as a coach in that situation. It's green light, and I think, listen, the video wasn't supposed to leak out, I don't think, the live Instagram thing, and maybe that's something that needs to be addressed. But the moment was perfect, and we all got to consume it, so I'm going to discuss it briefly. When Mike Norvell has the team's attention, and he says, we're going to work through this bye week, and the team is saying, yes, sir, and that's because that's what we do, yes. But your ass ain't working until Tuesday.
Yeah.
That is a perfect moment right there where you can see the balance between the diligence necessary and then also the moment of reward. One has to go with the other in order to have players to come along for the ride.
Well, and this is akin to the stuff we talk about with hardcore coaches. You can be that way. You can be absolutely ruthless in your demands, the expectations, the bar, everything, the standard you hold players to. And they'll be disciplined and they'll work hard if they believe you are genuine and you do have their best interest in mind. You care for them. They'll deal with all of it. And last night, Ira and I were talking about it on the Sunday Night Smash, and he brought up Mickey Andrews. Mickey Andrews would say hateful things to players, but they knew that wasn't born out of hate. It was a motivational ploy because he really wanted to win and he had high expectations for who those guys are and what they could become. And so, you'll put up with a lot when you think what's on the other end of that is a guy who loves me, who cares deeply that I become the very best I can be, and who has something of a system either that I believe in or he's the genuine article or both, right? And I think, again, we talk about what the win means in the big scheme of things. It's just their second win on the season. It's going to be a season that by FSU standards is not one we're going to want to really remember all that much, but it is something that shows real growth. It is something that shows real buy-in and a stick-to-itiveness that we were worried about as the losses mounted.
Yeah, it's 31-7 Louisville. It's the response to that, the follow-up. And, I mean, they created problems out of nothing against Syracuse. They had that game.
The team did, the players
by
did,
the horns, multiple times. 9-0. Next thing you know, their quarterback's going to run 50 yards untouched. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Next drive, they go down the field again. Syracuse does. You're like, really? So you're going to find these problems out of nothing. 30-20. You work all the way back. You correct those things. And then you muff the punt. Okay. All right. So this is what we're going to do. But they found a way to not completely collapse. And Syracuse at that time had multiple wins. We had none. And we found a way to win that football game. That's huge. I know that Jordan Travis invented his own ways to get into field goal range, maybe one with a little bit of the help of a hold.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe that's the moment for him too. Maybe we should have seen this effort, this comfortable effort against North Carolina come because Jordan was able to get through a full game against Syracuse, and he was the reason that we were in position to kick and win that game. But you've seen since 31-7 Louisville, mental toughness, sometimes a mental weakness, but more mental toughness than weakness to overcome the problems that we've generated.
Early in the Syracuse game, and we commented on Monday after they won, he lowered his shoulder along the sidelines, was willing to deliver a blow.
Mm-hmm.
We were kind of surprised to see it. As fragile as he's been, it was never a question of toughness. It's just his body betrays him. I thought, well, by all means, young man, go ahead and get out of bounds without taking that shot, because I know that mentally you want to deliver that blow because you're a competitor. But your body has betrayed you in these moments. That's now 2 games in a row where his body did what his brain told him to do and did so with conviction. And he came out none the worse for wear. We can all hope he's turned the corner in that regard too.
Well, and this is the thing too, Iris talked about this, and I know he's coming up in 20 minutes or so. But he said over the years that, all right, we can devise all these things. And this goes back to the X's and O's, Jimmy's and Joe's point. But sometimes guys just need to go make plays.
Mm.
And if you look at Saturday's game, how many key plays were made, 80% of them were us taking the opportunity to make a play. The Jerrion Jones interception is a massive play in this football game. And it's one that we never make until Saturday when we did. The Keyshawn Helton catch on 3rd and 12. That's a play made not only by Keyshawn Helton, but by the offensive line to give Jordan Travis all day. Jordan Travis to break the pocket, keep the play alive, and then the receiver to stay involved in the play. There are many more. The 8-yard game that I talked about with Jayshon Corbin on 3rd and 8. That's a play made. The offensive line has to pave the way to make that possible. They didn't hang their heads when it was a run call on 3rd and 8. They said, this is what we do.
Yeah.
They believed in it. North Carolina, think about the drops, the missed opportunities, the turnover. I mean, that's a 50-50 ball, but we went and took that from them. Josh Downs had a drop or two. Another receiver had a drop or two. And a couple of those might have been house calls and or 30 or 40-yard gains. How many times are we looking at the plays that we don't make and seeing another team do it? The hat was on our head as the playmaking group this weekend.
DLT gets hurt, comes out of this game. Good job, Bavion Johnson. Played well once inserted. They finally had a stronger, healthier looking core of offensive linemen that they thought they'd have before the season began. To go along with Williams, I think that's the best Maurice Smith has looked since he's come back. And then I think Robert Scott is slowly getting healthier and healthier. He's still not all the way back, but he looked healthier as well. And Bavion this year really deserves a pat on the back. He's not a great player. He's never going to be a great player. But he has worked his ass off, and when given opportunities, he's kind of a jack of all trades. They put him everywhere they have to, and in a given moment, he's held up. He actually, I think, was a bit of an upgrade in this game once DLT went down because he's been playing hurt, man. DLT has not been right. I've said that all year long. He's the smartest lineman we have, but he's physically just broken down time and again and not been healthy. Bavion's healthy. So he got out there, and he was hitting folks. So I guess I say that to say this. To your point and to what we said to start the show, Florida State was the better team in this game. They whipped North Carolina physically. They outcoached North Carolina from the scheme standpoint. But the other thing to note is that group, I thought, created real surge up the gut.
Yeah.
They bullied North Carolina a little bit during stretches of this game.
Yeah, they did. I think at times when they weren't, Jordan made the right read in a lot of those moments to get us out of a negative and into a positive. Now I'm talking after the snap. And that's where if you run the zone read, I'm not talking about the RPO. I'm talking about the read option.
Yeah,
it's either running back or quarterback keeps.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got somebody who can coherently think through the moment, the game slows down for them. It really plays into the hands of a group that doesn't have a good offensive line, because part of that scheme is to not block somebody intentionally.
Yeah. It's a read. Yeah.
So when it happens that somebody else might not be blocked, you're still in the habit of, all right, do I keep or do I give the ball in this situation? And he made so many clutch plays that by themselves, those decisions took us out of 2nd and 12 or 2nd and 13. That's where I was I'd never seen that. Not in the Garnet and Gold. There are other kids around the country who can run the zone read. We've never been able to run the zone. And if that continues, the things that we can run off of that, oh, dude, there are going to be a lot of shots open down the field. You don't need to have great receivers because they got to come up and try and stop that.
When he capped on the long run for the touchdown and got outside the tackle and made himself skinny, made himself small in the moment, I cracked up. It reminded me of the long touchdown run he had against him before. It wasn't as long as that one, but it was long. We've seen him do that, man. When he gets defenders, if they don't vice or whatever, they don't come down and clamp him, and he cuts through that, he's gone. I mean, he is electrifying to watch run the football when he's healthy. And finally, 2 weeks in a row, he's looked healthy. He's let it loose. He's let it fly. What a great weekend of college football. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com. We conquer all peaks. We fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark Construction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
For about 50 years, Paul's Termite and Pest Control has been protecting homes and businesses for thousands of people right here in the Big Bend. And we're quite proud of that. Fact is, all of us here at Paul's have families, and nothing is more important to us than their protection. By providing effective termite and pest treatments, we know we're aiding many right here in our community.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control performs many services designed for the protection of your family and your home. Programs like Pro Shield Complete, which encompasses termite and general pest control in one low-cost quarterly treatment plan. This program is environmentally friendly and is almost exclusively limited to exterior treatments, meaning pests and termites never enter your home. Termite programs like Centricon, a service which requires no invasive drilling or liquid applications. Plus, our lawn care team keeps lawns and ornamentals green and healthy.
Protection of your family, your home, and our environment all are very important to each of us at Paul's. To learn more about our many programs, please visit us at callpauls.com.
For the elimination of termites or any other pests.
And a greener lawn, too.
Call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Hey, Nole fans, our partner ISF Inc. is a national management and IT consulting firm located right here in Tallahassee, Florida, solving the future for state governments through strategy, process, and technology. As a trusted advisor for state government, including public health and emergency response agencies, our friends at ISF recognize September as National Preparedness Month and want to help you be safe this hurricane season. Visit ISF.com to learn more and download your emergency preparedness plan today. ISF, solving the future.
Tallahassee's 30-year-old funny paper and American Legion Post 13 have joined forces to become Major Morale. The new magazine has 4 more pages of post activities and military information that you probably never knew. But don't worry, it's still as politically correct and newsworthy as always. Okay, it's the same funny stuff, but it's still only available at the sponsors' locations like Keith Lawson Services, Tallahassee Automobile Museum, ABC Flooring, or Krispy Kreme Donuts. The country's best donut place has great different monthly specialty donuts like Ghirardelli, Oreo, Chips Ahoy, and too many more to mention. Sign up online at KrispyKreme.com for exclusive email discounts or download the app that lets you pile up rewards every time you order ahead. Krispy Kreme, America's favorite donut.
What's important when shopping at a gun store? Let's start with a friendly and knowledgeable staff. Then add top-notch service, great selection and pricing, and a personal shopping experience only found at a locally owned and operated business. At Red Hills Arms, they're right on target. While other gun stores come and go, Red Hills Arms remains Tallahassee's go-to local gun store for all your firearms needs. Stop by today and get welcomed in like family.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Is a production of the Warchant.com multimedia network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
It's the first time that anybody's ever seen what happened in Boston last night happen.
There have been other instances in the last 5 to 6 years that have trickled out, like, routine plays that somebody ends up, it bounces off of their shin and it goes into the side, because the outfield fence
usually doesn't happen out there. That's just a really strange setup in Boston, of course.
It happened once in Philly in center field where it went off the wall and the outfielder ended up kicking it into there because he's just running after the baseball and hits his foot. But man, are you kidding me? You got basically a runner on third when that thing comes off the wall. That's a toughie.
Yeah, and it's not the ump's fault, and it's not Boston's fault. They benefited greatly in a way that is hard to imagine in a moment so vital. But it is baseball's fault. I mean, you do have to go back and look at these rules and decide. John Smoltz hit on something here. He's like, well, why would you ever catch it if you know you're about to give up the lead run? Just throw it in there. Oh, couldn't get it. Couldn't make the play. I just threw it in there. Looks like you got to go back to third. Or I'll kick it in there myself. I mean, if you knew it, if you were heady enough to know it,
right.
Why would you ever pick that up cleanly? No, I'd rather just push it back into the bullpen.
Yeah, what's interesting is about that rule, and again, this is a fly ball that bounces off of the wall, right field. It's hit by Kiermaier and goes off the Red Sox player back over the wall and out of play. So it's not a traditional ground rule double that hits like the warning track and bounces over. In that instance, oddly enough, the ground rule double, the classic case, the umpire has discretion. But I don't know that the umpire has discretion in this particular case of the rule.
He doesn't. They actually talked about this. So Yandy Diaz is going to score easily, as you're noting. He's going to walk in, okay? But the rule, the play is called correctly. I went and looked it up right afterwards. So Hunter Renfroe doesn't make the play. It goes off of his hip. And he's clearly trying to make the play.
Oh, there's no nefariousness there.
And he's actually a really good.
That was a rocket shot to right center.
Oh, yeah, especially for the fact that it came off of Kiermaier's bat was stunning since he's not a good hitter. But, okay, so look. I bickered a little bit with a couple Boston folks on Twitter, and then I realized we're not going to be able to have this argument because, no, I can't know that the Rays were going to go on and win the game afterwards. They would have had a 5-4 lead. I can't know that they were going to go win the game. I do know that they would have gone to another pitcher, and I do know that there's added pressure suddenly on Boston that didn't exist in a tie ball game to start the next inning. And and again, that you can't know. They end up get the 2-run walk off. They win it 6-4, and now the Rays are up against it. That said, I'm looking at that rule, and they've written several stories on this. The ball was not inflated. It hit the front part of the wall, which crew chief Sam Holbrook said is basically an extension of the playing field. Holbrook explained to reporters that the rule offers the umpires no discretion whatsoever as to where to place the runners.
Yeah, it says 2 bases from where when the pitch leaves the hand or whatever it is prior to the pitch.
Yeah.
So it's where were you when the pitch was being delivered?
Yeah.
What base were you on? And that's the one. You got to add 2 from there. And you saw it too. Kiermaier is just looking to the heavens like,
he knows. Are you kidding me?
You're robbing me of this moment. This is an amazing moment in my life, and you're going to take it away.
Yeah.
And obviously for the team too, but you could see it. He's like, come on, man, it's me.
Yeah.
This is a big moment for me. And the ump says, I don't know if it was Holbrook or not who was interacting with him or a different base umpire, but he goes, that's the rule. And you could read his lips. He goes, I'm sorry, that's the rule.
Well, and you had Red Sox players say afterwards they've never seen anything like it. Kiki Hernandez said that. He said, I was speechless. I've never seen that before. I wasn't sure what was going to be called. I wasn't sure if the runners had to return. I wasn't sure if it was going to be like an errant throw where you get 2 bags. I had no idea. We were just as interested as everybody else, wondering what the umpires would do because we've never seen it happen before. Yeah. No, it's weird. You got a sense it was building to that moment that they were going to get screwed, and it was going to be the right call. So it's a weird kind of screwing in that nobody did anything wrong. It's just a dumb rule.
Yeah, it was the letter of the law to the rule. You got to enforce it. That's you can't go rogue there. Unfortunately, even if you want to, as the umpire, the rule should just be add 2 bases from wherever the runner was.
Well, and now that you have replay, this isn't 1857.
Right,
we can look at it in the replay and say, where was he? Oh, he's about to touch home plate. This is not even close. I mean, just that's why you have replay. Go back and look at it as best you can, decipher where he was when that happens. And it's an easy call at that point. You're not making, I mean, they talk about umpires' jobs being difficult, and occasionally they can be, especially with different rules for each ballpark. But I mean, that just go to New York. Yeah, man, he scores. This is not debatable. This is easy. Nobody would have been. I mean, I think Boston would have been like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, just call it Rule 755, or Rule 715 for Hank. Rule 715. We can do whatever the hell we want. Rule 715 says he scores. I don't care what the other parts of the rule, but we are overruling.
Yeah.
Rule 715 is for common sense.
Yeah, the common sense says that guy scores. Well, anyhow, that didn't happen, and obviously they give up the 2-run homer afterwards, and now they're up against it, and so it's going to be very, very interesting. Side note, our hunch last year has carried over to this year, and everybody sees it the same way now. It's kind of cool anytime you can look onto a field and you've seen a young quarterback come into the league and you realize this soon that they are going to be, barring injury, knock on wood, a Hall of Famer. Justin Herbert's going to be a Hall of Famer. Watching that dude, the NFL games were also spectacular yesterday, and it was a lot of fun to take that in. But I would tell you that watching that guy, we got to get into the NFL. We'll do it here in just a second. But I am addicted to watching him play football.
Oh, it's great, man.
He's a freak.
Yeah, and Cleveland put up absurd point totals and
everything
such.
About the way the two coaches handled that situation at the end of the game tells you about what they think of their quarterbacks. Jeff Cameron, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
The Tallahassee Police Department reported 3 separate shootings Saturday and Sunday, occurring just 8 hours apart from each other. Police responded to a shooting on the 1000 block of South Gadsden Street that reportedly sent 2 men and a teenage girl to the hospital. The 3 victims received non-life-threatening injuries. A few hours earlier, officers responded to another shooting. This one occurred at the intersection of Pasco Street and Liberty. 1 woman was injured and taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Police say the shots rang out just before 2 a.m. A shooting occurred near the Griffin Heights apartments on Basin Street that sent a man to the hospital with reportedly serious injuries. Police say it happened around 8:30 p.m. Saturday. There's no word yet from TBD on if there have been any arrests in any of these shootings. The department is asking the public to contact them or the anonymous Crime Stoppers line at 850-574-TIPS if they have any information that could be helpful. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at macklemoresystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Mainly clear skies and quiet this afternoon with highs around 85. Winds out of the east around 5 miles per hour. Lows level off around 65 tonight, mainly clear skies. Highs level off around 88 tomorrow, mainly sunny skies and calm. Temperatures a bit above average Wednesday and Thursday with highs in the upper 80s. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 84.
This is Kyle, service manager from Barano Heating and Air.
Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service program with guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
We all want more energy, more strength, more results. Well, welcome to Orange Theory Fitness as you take a step towards feeling more alive today. Backed by science, Orange Theory's heart rate monitored workout is scientifically designed to keep heart rates in a target zone, spiking metabolism and increasing energy. Orange Theory Fitness is a one-of-a-kind group personal training workout resulting in more energy, visible toning, and extra calorie burn for up to 36 hours. Experience a more vibrant life today with Orange Theory Fitness. To find out more, go to orangetheoryfitness.com.
Real Talk fact number 44. Banging your head against the wall for 1 hour burns 150 calories. This is Real Talk 93.3, Tallahassee's Real Talk station.
This is Brian Kilmeade, and I'm excited to be on the air in the capital city. Be sure to tune into my show. I'll be giving you all the latest news, information, and the truth you demand. The Brian Kilmeade Show is live from 9 till noon, right here on Real Talk 93.3.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
To do on a Monday, man, I could get used to this, Ira, these constant conversations after victories. I mean, this is fun, right?
It's you got to think that Mike Norvell and his staff enjoy the Monday press conferences a little bit better than they did a few weeks ago.
Yeah, they might not even wake up loathing to go speak to the media. In fact, they may say, let's speed this up. Let's get them in here early. Let's talk. Yeah. Hey, they got kids believing. They got kids fighting. They got kids playing well, playing better than they were earlier in the year. They are a little bit beat up. There's up and down with all this stuff. But the bye week couldn't come at a better time, right? Two straight wins. You've got momentum. You also need this break.
I think definitely in a lot of places, but I think particularly in the offensive line because, that group really had some bad luck earlier this season where basically everybody other than maybe Darius Washington has been battling some sort of injuries, and they've gutted it out these last 2 weeks, and they've been able to kind of get some continuity. But getting a week to kind of take things lighter, my guess is they won't practice in full pads much at all this week, and then next week start preparing for UMass. So, yeah, I think it comes at a great time for a lot of positions, but particularly the offensive line.
Talk about really quickly what the coaches had to say today. For those that have not heard the pressers, what was your overall takeaway? What was the basking in the glow of success? What they have to say?
I think a couple of the bigger moments or bigger topics to me were, Mike Norvell talking about the difference between last year's North Carolina game and this year's. A year ago, they upset North Carolina when they were top 5 in the country. And, as nice as that was, then they turned back around and got blown out by Louisville and Pitt and everybody else they played over the next month. And, he basically said he thought that this was a more complete victory, a more real victory, because it wasn't just some freak plays. You didn't have pick sixes and, special teams plays and things like that. It was basically Florida State was the better football team for 60 minutes. And that says a lot more and should be something that can carry over. The other thing I thought was really interesting was just listening to him and Kenny Dillingham, the offensive coordinator, talk about how much, as well as Jordan Travis played, and they thought he played really well, how much better they think he can play. And, you just could sense how excited they are about the potential if Jordan Travis can stay healthy and the strides he's making. You kind of forget that I think that was his 8th start. It feels like he's been playing for a long time, but he really hasn't. And they feel like the upside is still tremendous with him.
And he came out of this feeling healthy?
Yeah, it sounds like he did. And they were real happy about some of the decisions he made. I heard you talking last segment about him, running with some authority and putting his shoulder down in the
Syracuse game.
But they felt like he did a much better job in this game of getting down, getting what he could get, but then getting down and avoiding some big hits.
Yeah, that was the most comfortable he's ever looked to. They really have found an identity now, and I think that's exciting. And I know that it makes things so much easier to game plan when you have a guy that you can trust is going to be there during the week, and you have an identity that you're playing to. Obviously, they were really good too for long stretches at a time on the defensive side of the ball. I assessed that a little bit because we saw a secondary make plays on the football, which has not been the case for several years here. Obviously, this defensive line's been good, but they've been thinned a little bit, and yet they held up as well.
Yeah, we did talk to Adam Fuller, and that was kind of, I think, his biggest, what he felt good about was guys were, in positions and made plays, and, what that could do for them individually going forward. A guy like Jarian Jones or, some of the other defensive players who have been in position but maybe haven't come through with the play to actually have that happen. That's got to lead to more confidence going forward. And, it's a huge deal. Confidence is important in every sport, in every position, but certainly, especially in the defensive backfield where so many of those passes, it's you or me. And those guys, now that they've won a couple of those battles, it should help them going forward.
Bit of bad news real quick. Brian Robinson has put his name in the portal. Ira, I think there's probably frustration for both sides of this equation. He's a guy that, you look at him physically, you thought he could be a real contributor to this team down the line, 4-star prospect. But he's also never really been consistently out on the field. He's hurt frequently. So your thoughts, I guess your personal thoughts on Brian Robinson entering his name into the portal.
Yeah, it's a really weird one. He was a guy that was committed to Miami when Ron Dugans was there. And then when Coach Dugans returned to Florida State, and then he ended up coming to Florida State, you felt like, okay, well, this is a situation where, they're so close, and, it's going to be a great relationship. And this is a guy, obviously, very talented, one of the top
250, yeah.
in the country. But it just never materialized. And then you started hearing that he wasn't really happy. And, as you said, he was often injured. And so it's not totally surprising. He only played in one game this year, and it was on special teams. Sometimes, man, it just doesn't work out. And I don't know if there's anybody to blame in this, but maybe he'll find a new home and have an opportunity to play somewhere else. But he was really having a tough time, even when he was healthy, breaking through here.
We're going to have fun on Headlines tomorrow, brother, talking about another win and all the kind of weird things we have to do if they keep winning, at least advised by the listeners as they pose more and more dangerous ventures for us with each passing victory. Be well, good sir. Talk to you later.
Sounds good, man. Take care.
All right, bye. IrishFell, Always fun to talk to him. It's really fun to talk to him after back-to-back wins. That's a good thing.
I wonder how the tequila shot sat with him from last night's episode of the Sunday Smash. If you haven't seen that, you, sir, across from the glass, Jeff did, and Ira did. They both enjoyed a tequila toast.
Yeah, we had been told, it had been recommended that we do a tequila shot if we got, well, there have been lots of things recommended, including me streaking down Tennessee Street. I'm not really desirous to go to jail. I don't want to do that. I don't know that I needed to do that.
I've got a question the suggester.
It's also not that big a win.
I've got a question the suggester.
Yeah.
What are you on in that moment, man? Stop with the whippets.
Yeah, no, we don't. But, hey, listen, for the right kind of win, maybe I'd sacrifice to that extent. But it's just a regular season win over North Carolina for win number 2. And while it's important to the rebuild, it's not that kind of win that we need to go streaking down Tennessee Street. And then somebody suggested we do cake stands, and while Ira and I were in agreement, we would do them. We'd be happy to do. I haven't done one I did one on my 21st birthday.
That's the last one you've done? You never happened by a tailgate and did a keg stand in
I don't think I have.
30 years?
No, I don't think I have.
Not in 30 years.
No, I don't think I have. I really don't remember if I did.
Well, yeah,
no, I want to say at one point there was the thought of doing one Jimbo's first year, the spring game. Tom Block was interviewing me outside the stadium. I don't know why, but he was. And I was answering his questions, and there were some people doing keg stands in the not too distant.
That could have been
not
me.
far off in the distance. It could have been you. And I don't remember. I thought about going over there, but I don't think I did them. I don't think I did.
It might have been my friends because his first spring game was.
It was a big deal.
I covered that game, but I was still very much in a group of friends who would be
doing keg stands.
Yeah, I was in my early 20s.
No, man, I don't think I've done one in 30 years.
Well, we've got to change that.
Well, I'm indifferent.
Florida State hadn't been 0-4 in 50 years, times,
So the third thing that was settled on was we said if they beat North Carolina that we would happily do. I mean, Ira and I are in two separate places at the time that we do the Sunday Night Smash. I'm at my house. He's at his house. It would have been impossible to do a keg stand. I guess our wives could have held us up, but that gets a little dicey.
Price is strong enough.
Yeah, it would have been a little weird to order a keg to the house to do a keg stand for the show.
And what do you do with the rest of it?
Yeah, right. So I ended up saying, yeah, the tequila shots are fine. So I did my tequila shot. I'm no stranger to tequila shots. I don't make it a habit these days, but I've had my fair share of tequila shots. Ira clearly has not. When it hit him, and I think it hurt him a little bit. He got popped with a straight left.
Yeah, from the Don Julio. I believe you guys did agree to doing tequila shots for every subsequent win this season, though. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think we said we would. Yeah.
Okay. So Sunday after UMass, he's going to get his Don Julio on.
Yeah, and I'll do the same. Yeah. And by the way, you and I were committed at some point. We haven't done it, but aren't we committed to some sort of venture together to once again engage in the margarita Corona, the Margarona?
What? I don't remember this.
I just think we were dedicated to doing that once again at some point.
Oh yeah. Well, we've got a few things that we got to check off the list. The Margarona is one of them. But having a Guinness with your dad before the NC State game, that has to be done. We're going to be into November without having had a seasoned Guinness. That'd be 2 straight years.
Yeah, that's not what we do.
That's not what we do. We got to clean that up.
Not what we do.
I also think after the season's over, because Ira, unless he he develops an affinity for the Don Julio that did not exist yesterday, after the season's over, maybe at the bowling tournament, which we've got to work on bye week. This is a good time to take a look at those particulars. But maybe we can have a silent auction. I don't know if that's legal, but we could have a silent auction for the Ira Victory Don Julio. And then one lucky bowler or listener or Warchant could, hey, you get Ira's Victory Don Julio. I mean, that's a pretty cool item.
That is a really
to auction
cool
off
item
for charity.
That's fun. I like it. Hey, so I mentioned the Bills game, and I mentioned the Chargers game, and I mentioned some NFL games, and I forgot we had Ira coming, so that was my fault. So I want to get back into this in a second, but I will tell you this. Here's a stat for you before we get a break. The Bills did not blitz Patrick Mahomes one time in that game. Last night.
Yesterday. We put the game plan out there. Now it'll keep them, if they run it at peak efficiency, still in the upper 20s, low 30s. You know, you need turnover luck to help, but we did put the game plan out there for the world to see in the Super Bowl.
That is crazy, by the way. I mean, not one single blitz. And then there are some shocking and really cool numbers in regards to fourth down math that the Los Angeles Chargers use.
Well, also,
Brandon Staley is not having it.
To go back to Buffalo's game plan real quick, over 90% of the snaps had 2 high safeties as well. When you don't bring the extra pressure, that means you can leave the extra safety over the top, which helps against the Tyreek Hill factor.
Yeah, the big play. Absolutely. Keep it in front of you. Yeah, man, it's the Buffalo Bills right now look to be, at this point of the season, the best team in football. A lot of football to be played, but right now they're showing out.
In a weird way. Well, not in a weird way. I'm sure the Buffalo Tom guy will be very happy about this comment. That was the most wrong line of the weekend. When it was released,
We both took the Bills. We both jumped on it.
Yeah, I think it opened at KC -3 and it moved quickly to 2.5. That felt so wrong the whole way. That's living in the past.
Yeah, I picked the Bills straight up to win the game in my bet with my mom, right? I think I did.
So, yeah.
I think I did. Got to double check.
You guys had one different. I forget which one it was.
I thought it was that one.
Could have been.
I may be wrong on that, but I'll have to go back and double check. I did in our other pool.
Yeah,
I definitely took Buffalo.
And the thing is that, like, Kansas City can repair some of these
I did
things.
take Buffalo, yeah.
Kansas City can repair some of these things and be right back to full form by December, and we're all laughing at the conversation in October. But when you're talking about a 1 week line, that bad boy was wrong by at least a touchdown. You could feel it.
I got a bit of a bold prediction here for you, friend. I don't think they're repairing anything in Kansas City. That defense is not going to get appreciably better. I think you can change personnel. I mean, dramatically change personnel.
Well, Stephon Gilmore's not coming through that office door.
No, he's not. And he foolishly chose to go to Carolina. Sir, do you have no desire to win football games?
Yeah, should have picked a different team in that division.
That's true. That's crazy. It's weird. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Wooden Glass has been taking care of families since 1945.
Experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best, like Wooden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Wooden Glass, and they provide precise installation.
Wooden Glass, Tallahassee's first family in glass. Online at wittenglass.com. Call 850-222-5781.
Applications, onboarding, payroll, termination. Business owners and managers, you know these are the processes that take away too much time from what you do best. But what if there was a locally owned, responsive solution that would charge you a fraction of the big national payroll companies? Sound too good to be true? It's not. North Florida Payroll Services is Tallahassee owned for nearly 15 years. And in that time, their prices have never changed. The reason North Florida Payroll Services can do that? Exceptional customer service that constantly evolves with the latest technology. From application to termination, for turnkey service for your payroll and HR services, trust a Tallahassee expert and save yourself time and money. North Florida Payroll Services. Online at northfloridapayroll.com.
Yes, Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue has amazing sandwiches and slow smoked beef, chicken, and pork. But don't forget the sides, man. Have you tried Kenny's mac and cheese? Make a note. Kenny's cheesy, creamy, gooey mac and cheese will change your life. And that's just one side. Make the trip 1 mile north of Havana to Highway 27 Grill and Barbecue. Get your fill at the grill.
Did you know that in a single year, more than $1 trillion in Social Security benefits were paid out? If you're nearing retirement age and have questions about your Social Security, I can help. This is Craig Collins with Collins Income Tax Solutions. If you've been concerned about your Social Security benefits, give me a call for a free consultation to learn how we can help maximize your Social Security benefits. I'm online at collinsincometaxsolutionsllc.com or give me a call directly at 850-391-7659.
Live from Tallahassee, the Holy Mother of God Greek Orthodox Church presents the Greek Food Festival. Bring the entire family. Enjoy baklava and other Greek pastries. Enjoy a complete dinner. Free admission. Come for the food and leave with the culture this Friday and Saturday, 10 to 10.
If you weren't the owner of Gordo's and all those wonderful restaurants, Eddie, what would you be doing?
You know, I think I'd want to be I don't know what I'd want to be, a boat captain or a cowboy.
You know how to use a lasso?
No.
You'd have to do that if you were a cowboy.
Yeah, but I've never even been on a horse. It's not my place to be on a horse.
I agree. And the horse thanks you. Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
They're used to losing games like the one they won yesterday, and they've won a lot of close games so far, and they're making all the big plays. Now, it certainly helps to have the best of the young quarterbacks on your side, but if you go back and think of the mismanagement of Chargers games over the last decade, Norv Turner, Mike McCoy, Anthony Lynn, I mean, damn it, man. They always blew those situations late in games, and now those inexplicable infuriating failures are becoming wins. And I got to give credit where credit's due here. This is a story written by Bill Barnwell, ESPN Insider with Stats and Info. And they took a good look at what he's done on fourth down. So his offense faced in the second half, fourth down, and they had a 14-point comeback. And they used this play finder tool from Pro Football Reference to find out how often coaches went for it in similar situations, Tom, over the last decade in order to contextualize how aggressive Staley is with this offense. Now, again, it's easier to be aggressive when you've got a 6'5", 250-pound monster who makes really good decisions at quarterback, right? But it's still a big deal. 4th and 2 on their own 24-yard line with 10:30 to play in the third quarter. Down 27-13. So I'll ask you, if you and I are watching a game and it's 4th and 2 on your own 24, down 2 touchdowns with 10:30 to play in the third quarter, Are you going to be like, whoa, what are we doing here if we trot the offense back out there?
I did when Mike did the same thing against Notre Dame in week 1. So,
right.
I think the only way I'd say this is the right move is if it's a short 2. Not all 2s are the same. You know, I've seen a couple last week where it says 4th and 1. I'm like, that's a full 2 yards. That's not, these are big differences. And the second factor that would cause me to say good call is how good the defense is.
You can't get a stop.
The defense is just destroyed, then all right.
So they ran a power play. They just lined up and ran a power play to Eckler, and he got 9 yards and said, suck it.
Which,
and there you go. I mean, that is...
He's saying a lot of that lately. The last 2 weeks, he's been
good
unbelievable. But their other back is actually an even bigger bruiser.
Oh,
his name escapes me, but that dude runs hard.
They've got 2 guys that run really, really hard. 4th and 7 on Cleveland's 22 with 7:45 to play in the third quarter, also trailing 27-13. All right. So by the way, the tool that he used, the play finder tool, 4th and 2 from the 24-yard line, dating back for more than a decade, coaches 100% of the time punted. So he broke that trend. That was the end of that. 4th and 7 on Cleveland's 22 with 7:45 to play in the third quarter, trailing 27-13. The answer was 94% kicked a field goal. Not him. He's not having that. He said, nope, not going to do it.
Matt LaFleur is in that 94%.
He threw a 12-yard completion to Keenan Allen that extended the drive. 4th and 4 on the 41-yard line. 9 minutes, 10 seconds left in the fourth quarter, trailing 35-28. So they're on their own 41. 4th and 4, down just 7, 9 minutes to play. Would you have wanted to punt there? Because I think I would have.
Maybe. Let me return to that Keenan Allen play real quick. He had just dropped the previous pass. I had that game on.
Yeah. It's great.
They went right back to him. Everything about that call is arrogance and confidence in all the right ways.
Yeah, your coach has it, and so does your quarterback. They're a fun team to watch.
If you're Keenan Allen, what do you think in that moment?
I love this man.
Exactly right. You love both of them, the coach and the quarterback. He's going right back to me. They're devising a play for me. I just made a poor play, one that I don't ever make, but they believe. That's huge.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. Here, he scrambled out of the pocket, launched a low percentage pass to Mike Williams down the sideline, got a pass interference call, kept the drive alive. Pretty nuts.
Mike Williams was always a beast. It was just a matter of, was he going to find the right landing spot, and he's found it.
He about killed me yesterday in fantasy. Thank goodness I was able to overcome it with superior players.
I had him.
So did Joey St. Germain, Dr. Joseph St. Germain, and he almost single-handedly won him the game.
I had Eckler and Williams. It was a good day.
What a day.
It was a good day.
4th and 8 on Cleveland's 24-yard line, 7:48 to play, trailing 35-28. Most people kicked a field goal there. They didn't. They went for it again. And, I mean, time and again, they've gotten this right, not just because they've gotten the conversion, but, I mean, you're putting your faith in what is emerging now as probably, what do you think, inside of 2 years, he'll be the best quarterback in football?
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's on the short list right now.
He's already on the short list.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, how quickly are you going to say he passes Patrick Mahomes?
Oh, well, man.
I mean, that's a special kind of dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you might just have to talk about them as co. And if you've got it as, they happen to be in the same division, which, the Bucs have played in a division with MVPs for years and Hall of Famers. That's within 2 years. Yeah, for sure it is. But Mahomes, he hasn't gotten worse. That team is more flawed. I don't think Mahomes has gotten any worse at all.
No, and they're pointing out that the Chargers need to find themselves a much more reliable kicker. They've missed 4 of 14 extra points. Is he making these decisions? If he's got a kicker, he believes it. If Justin Tucker's his kicker, what are we doing here? All right, let's kick over here to probables. We got to wrap it up. Game's underway. We got another one tonight, which I can't wait for. All right, fire it up.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
North Florida Payroll Services, locally owned for nearly 15 years, offering payroll and HR services, including full online applicant onboarding and integration into payroll. Save your company money and headaches today. Head to northfloridapayroll.com.
Side note real quick before you get full on into baseball. I just feel so bad for the fans of San Diego. Like, really? You're going to get jobbed by a bad owner out of having the Chargers.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get Herbert, in time for them to go to LA. And so that move's going to work for all involved except you. And you were right and they were wrong.
And you get screwed.
Doubly. That's bad, man.
The wrath is brutal. Brewers Braves are tied at nothing in the 5th, unless somebody just scored. Freddie Peralta started that game for Milwaukee. Ian Anderson starting for the Braves. Rays Red Sox, here you go. Fenway with the season on the line. Two guys that did not meet with success in their last outing, Colin McHugh and Eduardo Rodriguez.
And Johnny Holstaff behind him.
For everybody. Tonight, 9:30. If you don't like the Monday Night Football matchup, and I don't, Giants-Dodgers, here we go. Alex Wood, who has been lit up by the Dodgers in his career. I don't know that I'd make this decision, San Fran, but all right. A lot of advanced numbers show that the Dodgers pound Alex Wood.
Ooh.
I was going to say something else, but
jeez.
Yeah. Dodgers will throw Max Scherzer.
Advantage LA. Un poquito.
Yeah, it's a toughie. Astros White Sox got postponed, or we would have had even more baseball on tonight. Tomorrow, when they make it up, it'll be Jose Urquidy and Carlos Rodon. That was a big, cool comeback win for the White Sox. That was good to see. More baseball, not less baseball, everybody.
Out to San Francisco. I have a couple of friends who live out there, and one of them was sitting on the first base line for the Buster Posey Oppo Taco home run in Game 1.
Little 3-0 pitch, and Buster says, "I'll sit dead red. Ship it down." Yeah, that was nice.
I feel like that's a lyric for this song when it has lyrics.
What, Ship It Down?
Yeah, with this band right here.
Ship it down.
There
Yeah. Work your way in. Yeah, I see it. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Joshua Kelly is the running back.
Yeah, man, he runs hard.
Yeah, Justin Jackson is normally the number 2, but he didn't play due to injury, says Beast Mode 863, who's a Chargers fan who has had to go through all this. Yeah, he is a San Diego guy. He loved the Chargers, and he got screwed.
So if I was a San Diego person who hated the franchise for moving, I think I'd still be a fan right now. I think, you know what? Those uniforms still look familiar to me, and that quarterback looks like something like I haven't seen in a long time. I probably would just rally around quietly the team that moved, because that's going to be a winner.
Yeah, I think you got no choice. Those uniforms are the best, too. Those uniforms are so good. Next year, when we break out the creamsicles, that'll be a moment.
Creamsicles against the Charger blue?
Wouldn't you love it? I mean, could you? Because this weekend was great.
Yeah.
This weekend you had the Dolphins. I wish the Dolphins would wear the throwbacks. They didn't. They should have worn their throwbacks, which they frequently wear.
Yeah, they wore the previous week.
Yeah, you need to wear those at all. First of all, those should just be the permanent uniforms. Don't do the modern nonsense, although it's not terrible.
The modern's not bad at all.
It's not bad, but the old one is so sweet. Next year when Bucks Dolphins play, they have to be creamsicle and then old school.
That would be really nice. I'm just thinking about the matchup in December on the 12th. The Bills come to town.
Yeah, a lot changes between now and December. So I mean, I just caution everybody. Like, we look great right now. Buffalo looks awesome right now. A lot of games, man. A lot of games and a lot of health that you have to hope to keep in place, because the Bucs are winning right now in spite of not being healthy.
That's right. That defense should be fine by December 12th. They're going to be put to the test, though. But you think about it. Josh Allen breaks the pocket. Here comes Devin White.
Woo!
They're on a collision
Big
course.
men.
Oh, buddy.
Here we go. Let's get it on.
That's a moment. Got to have the yard. Are you going to get the yard?
That's a big man, but that is another big man coming for you.
I know who's moving faster. Yeah, that's Devin White.
Yeah, that is. Well, it depends on when he realizes he's making the move.
Mm-hmm.
How quickly do I realize you're going for it? And I got to beat you to a spot. You got to beat me to a spot. It's like that moment in the movie where everybody looks at each other. It's like, whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, go. Here it comes. Here it is. Racing to that spot. Good work out of you, Tom. Good work, Matthew. Thanks to all of you who listen to the program. As always, enjoy the sports tonight. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Be well. Peace.